All right, hello and welcome to the MatchDayVlogs YouTube channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button, hit subscribe, because it really does make a difference to the channel. We're here this evening to chat with our opposition. We have in the studio, we've got FFTV Deano, and we've got, of course, FFTV Wolverine. Hello, boys. How you doing down here at the bottom of the table? It's nice to have you with us.
Mate, it's good to be in such esteemed company, mate. We're nervous about this one. I'm nervous. I don't know how Deano is, but I don't think it's that straightforward. I think a lot of the fan base, Forest fan base, are getting overexcited by it. And I've always said to you, Mike, I got a lot of respect for Southampton's team, even though, I think sometimes more than you do this season, mate. But
that's probably fair.
I'm not. I think we should win this, but I'm just not fully convinced. I don't know where you are with it, Deano. Are you the same?
I think Forest have to win. I think if we don't beat you, Mike, I think we're doomed, to be honest.
If you don't see where we're going to get to go down, to be fair, as it stands at the moment, I would say.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm that nervous. I think over the last 3 games we've seen a glimmer of hope. Like 1% more possession in each of the games. And like 2 more shots than we normally do. But, other than that, we've been dire this season. Forest have been absolutely dire, tactically wise. I think we've got good players, but just tactically we've been awful away from home, especially. Our home season, we've got an extra player with the fans.
Just on that subject, actually, I mean, I would say I haven't heard a lot of positives being said about Steve Cooper and what he's been doing recently. But in terms of your expectations at the start of this season, was it literally survive, or was there any aspirations for anything more than that?
I mean, I'm probably the most delusional Forest fan. I said 4th at the start of the season. Man. Give me 4th from bottom now and I'll bite your hand off. But it's like the fact, I think there's different sections within the fan base. I think the majority of the fan base are, I think all in agreement, the objective would be, of course, stay up. Yeah. And then you get the delusional categories until you reach my heights. But yeah, there's not too many. There's not too many who are as dumb as I was. But overall, I think the fan base would be happy with just survival at any means. 17th would be, party time again. I think where you're starting to see a little small bit of the split is the playing style for me. Cooper's clearly it's the first time he's been in the Premier League, and there's a small minority, which I would include myself in, that haven't been happy with the playing style that we're seeing. It's too negative, too low block. But I think the majority of the fan base would say they're fine with it as long as we survive, and then let's roll on next season. Cooper deserves that chance, is usually what they will say, because he got us here, then he deserves the chance to see it through this season. But for me, I remember the old Premier League days. This wasn't how we used to play. So, I'm more interested in Forest progressing up that table, because I believe the squad is better than we're showing on the pitch. But that's just me, but I don't speak for a lot of the fan base.
Yeah, my answer to that would be, when we first came up, 17th, fantastic, just surviving in the first league,
right?
First season in the league. But then when you sign so many good players, good players as in Lingard, who's been a complete disaster, but in the likes of Felipe we've picked up, and Danilo, people like that, your expectations change a little bit, or mine do anyway, from 17th to we should be really kind of 12th, 13th, in my opinion.
Right.
Again, we've all got different opinions, but I agree with Wolverine that, Cooper's got some credit in the bank, but I think I've seen that credit bit by bit, week by week, sort of gradually wane a little bit, and a lot of people are now talking about the tactics as too negative.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a Saints fan, we finished, I think it was 8th with Claude Puel, and it was just the most boring, dire football. But, we probably bite everyone's hand off.
Would you take that now, Mike? Would you go back to that?
Well, this is the thing, and we were at a time in the season where we didn't have an out-and-out striker, and we just basically set out not to lose games. So I can totally understand, it's a real balance from, like, you want to see good football, but then you also want to pick up results and not concede heavily. So
yeah, I agree with that. The problem where I start to take issue is where you're not seeing good football and you're not picking up results.
Right.
And for me, it gets to the stage, well, why didn't you just swing at it, man? You know, for me, the biggest. There's been 2 patches this season where I've got really frustrated with the tactics. That was after the Leicester Villa Wolves games earlier on. I don't know if you remember, Cooper was pretty much out the door. The fans saved him and he got a new contract. You know, it shocked everyone. He really went into this low block football, real low block football. And ever since then, he's continued with it. It was fine when it came into January because he was picking up results off the back of it. Where I have a problem with it is when you're not picking the results up at all and you're just taking losses. I mean, we went on a streak until we beat Brentford, where how many did we lost in a row? I can't remember, 5, 6. We hadn't won in 12 games, picked up 3 points in it.
It sounds familiar, but yeah.
It does, doesn't it? Yeah, but you start to get frustrated, don't you? And it's like, but at least, like I said with you guys, when I watch Southampton play, at least there's patterns of play. You know, you do tend to get sometimes in the 40s in possession, whereas we've been in the 19s, Mike. 19s. Yes, it was against Liverpool, but it's just, I feel we're better than that. That's my frustration with it. I feel we're better than that, you know?
Yeah, we're quite often sub 30% at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite something. So looking ahead to Monday's fixture, I mean, we've all got our team sheets in mind, but who should Southampton fans be looking out for on Monday's fixture? Is there any kind of like strategies that Cooper's going to do? Use that term loosely, and any particular players to watch out for?
Go on, Deano.
Yeah, I think he'll play with a 5 at the back. Although I'd like to see a 4, but I think he'll play with a 5. But with the 2 wing backs pushed up a bit. But the problem is, the wing back that he brought back in is now injured. So we've now got Aurier back in, who's not really a wing back; he's a right back. So it's a bit of a misshape, really. But you know, our central defence is pretty good, prone to the odd mistake. You could overrun us in midfield if we do play that tactic, because we tend to play a 2 in the midfield there, and that's where we've been overrun a lot this season. Kind of crying out for a 3, which means you either got to lose it up front or lose 1 at the back and go to a 4. I think a lot of Forest fans would like to see the 4. Ones to look out for. I mean, Danilo got injured, but we've seen him on the training pitch this week. So Danilo's a good player from Brazil, from Palmeiras. He's 21. Wolverine, 21.
Just turned 22 last week, yeah.
Yeah, just turned 22 actually. He scored on his birthday. So he's one. He's a proper box to box. He's got energy for days and days and days. Other than that, you're just looking at whether people like MGW are going to have a good game or a terrible game, because it seems to be one or the other. But our biggest star at the minute is Felipe, the centre back. He's just unbelievable. We don't deserve him, to be honest. He could walk into a top 4 club.
I do agree with that. I would say that Felipe is just a monster, man. He's an absolute beast, and that's why I'm so adamant that we should be playing with a 4 back, because with him and Niakate, they are 2 just amazing centre backs. And I know it sounds weird. I always get this from my mates. It's like, how can you say your defense is the strongest part of your team where you've got the worst goal difference in the league? And my comeback is, it's not the defense, it's the tactics. You know, you got the midfield playing really deep. You got the strikers playing in our own half as well. And eventually you're just going to crack under that pressure. That's what tends to happen to us.
Yeah, if you're giving them 70%, opposition 70% possession all the time, you're all going to crack.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. But I would love it to be a 4. I think Dino's probably right. Look, with all respect to the Saints, he has to go to a back 4 against Southampton, because this is a game, isn't it, Mike? Neither of us can lose it. If you lose it, you're as good as down. If we lose it, our games coming up aren't as favourable. So I think a draw would not suit either of us and would suit everyone else around us, you know, at the very least. Or I think most of them are gunning for you guys to win. Speaking to the rest of the boys on Beat the Drop, they're all backing you boys at the moment. But I don't know, man. I'm not convinced. I will feel better once I see the team sheet, or I'll feel worse once I see the team sheet, if you know what I mean.
You're right, exactly that. I mean, I had a quick glance over the your preview earlier, Wolverine, and plenty of slanderous stuff you said about our team sheet there. But no, I mean, perhaps talk us through the Forest lineup. I mean, who's going to be starting in your view?
It will be, for me, he'll go in, obviously, Navas at the back. And he's starting to split the fans a little bit with his, I'm sure you saw his parries into the into his goal against Brentford. There's been a lot of that, and as I keep saying about him, he is the world's best goalkeeper and the world's crappiest goalkeeper, all within 90 minutes of every game at the moment. He'll make some of the most ridiculous saves you've ever seen, but he's letting in absolute clangers. But he will start. Look, he's better than Hennessy. Yeah, I'm not really too fussed about him at the moment. I know there's like Forrest Ant really is wound up by him. In terms of if he goes for a back three, it will be Worrell, Felipe, and Niakate, with Aurier and Renan Lodi as the wing backs. If he goes in the back four, he'll probably drop Worrell and leave Felipe and Niakate in there.
Okay.
Where you're going to get the question, the unknown at the moment, is the midfield, fitness-wise. He's very coy with how he tells us about whether players are fit or not. So Danilo, who went off, we went down to 10 men last week. He's become this wonder kid for us. He's really good box-to-box midfielder. He went off with cramp, but we've seen images on his Instagram this week of him training, looking absolutely fine. Cooper, again, was very coy in his interview today. I think Danilo will play, and I think he'll be partnered with Mangala and Yates. I think Yates is probably going to squeeze in there. The worry for us is if he brings in Shelvey back in maybe, or a Freuler. So I think he'll go. Do you think it'll be a 2 or a 3 in there, Dino? Do you think it'll be?
Well, if he goes for 5, I think he'll go for 2 in the midfield. If he goes for 4, then I think he will go for 3 in midfield.
Who do you think the 2 would be? Mangala and Danilo, or Yates?
I think Yates and Danilo, althoh Yates has only just come back for sort of 10 minutes after injury, hasn't he? So he is a bit cautious at times, Cooper. So yeah, Mangala's doing decent now. You know, he's Belgium international. Bit up and down, injuries in and out the squad most of the season. Which, to be honest, Mike, you know, we've had 10 or 11 injuries on a consistent basis throughout most of this season. It's been crazy, and we're still top. We've got 11 or 12 now.
Yeah, we've got 12 out at the moment now.
Yeah, which is
kind of familiar
mental,
with
really.
I mean,
so yeah, those 2, I agree with that. And then, well, you don't want to finish up front?
I think the front 3, if it's a 3, will be Awoniyi, MG Dub, and Jono. As his favourite 3. And I'm not against it at the moment. I just don't feel like they're clicking too well. I don't think it's balanced, because I think MGW needs to play, as in Morgan Gibbs-White needs to play in the 10 role. So what he might do, if he does go to a 4-back, he may go 4-3-1-2 and put MG Dub in behind, and then put Jono and Awoniyi up front. Now, again, I think personally that causes imbalance, because I like Jono wide on the right coming in. That's where he's had most of his goals this season. So there's a lot of square peg round holes.
A bit lightweight, so as a striker against big central defenders, you know, it's better enough the right, definitely.
Yeah, and then Awoniyi's back now. Obviously, he scored in the reverse fixture and then went off injured. He was just coming into good form then as well. So he's only been back a couple of weeks. He's had one good game against against Brighton, and then he gassed a lot in the Brentford game. So I don't know, mate. It's really hard to judge, because Cooper hasn't really been consistent with putting the same team out week in, week out. I kind of feel you guys are a bit like that when you're doing a bit of chopping and changing as well, aren't you?
Every week we don't know what the starting 11 is going to be, and I think that's been a massive detriment to us, because when things are going well, you know the starting 11.
Yeah,
you always know.
100% agree.
Consistently, there they are. You already know what they are, and even when we're doing our previews, just like it's pointless us doing a preview on the team sheets, because you know what they are.
We've been there most of the season, Mike.
Things are going bad.
I spoke to Jacob Tanswell from the Athletic earlier this season. Did a podcast with him, and he spoke about Lavia, who's your kind of Danilo, isn't he? What's he been like this season?
He's been phenomenal. I've got Lavia on the back of my shirt for a reason, but you know we bought him.
Is he loans, Mike, or have you bought him?
He is ours. He's our player. There's a buyback clause, I think, of about.
That's what it is. Yeah.
And,
Can I just talk about one of your players, Mike? You say you've got Lavia on the back of you.
We will never know, Mike. We will never know. Yeah, because that's the thing. When I was doing my preview video for the match, I've seen probably about 3 out of your last 5 games. And I just feel like they're all... You back, Dino?
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Did you hear that about the defender?
No, we lost you, mate. You froze.
Sorry. I'll say it in a minute. Go on. Carry on.
Yeah. And it's like I was looking at it. You had Kyle Walker-Peters at left back against Newcastle, I think it was. And then I'm like, really? I've never known him to play that. Is he that versatile that he does, or was that because you were filling in for injuries, or was it just to shock the opposition a little?
Kyle Walker-Peters will play left or right, and I would say he's equally good on either side. He was playing left back a lot last season because of Tino Livramento. So in terms of someone that can play on the left or right, he's perfect for both sides. Peru's injured for us, so we'll probably see Ainsley Maitland-Niles feature in the right back position, I would guess.
How's he been for you? Because he was linked to Forest in the summer, and I was very iffy about him. Has he been a bit iffy?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Ainsley Maitland-Niles has been a great player at times, but he almost he needs a more consistent role. He's been used as a bit part player, so he's played in centre back, he's played in right back, he's even played the number 6 role, he's been playing, a right wing back and all these kind of other positions. So, but his head drops. Remember when he went to West Brom on loan? It kind of feels a bit like that, so I do worry with his kind of his
because his whole thing at Arsenal was he didn't want to be that utility guy, did it? Yeah, he wanted to kind of cement a position down. So he's kind of been tagged now, hasn't he? A bit.
Yes, indeed.
And then for me, the worrying guy, I gotta say, has been Walcott. He's kind of sprung a little in terms of the signs of the old Arsenal Walcott there, or the old Southampton one from back in the day, man.
Yeah.
But he's been okay. Is he getting a bit evergreen again for you guys?
Well, the first 10 minutes against Bournemouth, he looked very, very lively, and I kind of think it's two parts really. It kind of shows you how far we've dropped in terms of when Theo Walcott is your shining light in the squad. You spend close to 80, 90 million quid over the summer and the winter, and literally you're talking about Theo Walcott. No disrespect to Theo, but he's coming towards the end of his career. Most of the season being a voice in the dressing room. He's not supposed to be our out and out striker, but he scored some goals recently. I mean, I think it more shows how desperate we are at this current state in time. So yeah. Good.
But I kind of like Alcaraz. I think he's okay. He has flashy moments. He's got you a couple of goals, hasn't he? But
yeah, he's a very tidy player. I think what you'll see on Monday, you'll probably see us not feature any out and out strikers, and we'll have lots of false nines in midfield with Alcaraz and Shea Adams sort of cannonballing off each other in the front position. So, but yeah.
I would love to cuss Shea Adams down, but I don't want to jinx it. But I really think he's crap. I really don't rate him at all. Sorry, dude. I
think he's going to be like Custer's Last Stand, where they kind of like a big battlefield in the middle. It's like no man's land.
It's going to be a horrible game, isn't it? It's going to be horrible.
Probably.
Why is Sky televising?
We'll sit that. You sit that. We'll send somebody out with a white flag.
Yeah, it's a worry. It's a definite worry.
They should just toss a coin at the start, so he wins that way, mate, and then save everyone the pain and the emotion of it all, mate.
Oh, dude. What was your question before you got cut off with the interception there?
Oh, I was just going to say, you said you got thingy on the back, Lavia on the back. So, how much would this cost then? Lianco, Evangelista, Silveria, Neves, Vujanovic.
What, to put on the back of the shirt?
Yeah, 80 quid.
Is that his actual name?
That's his name. Yeah, he's got 5 names within a name.
Well, it's just Lavia on the back of mine. So.
He's got to have a good song, surely.
Do you know what? I remember when when they redid the team sheet, the 25-man squads in January. I was looking at it, reading through. I was thinking, who are these players we've signed? And it was like Danilo's actual full proper name, Felipe's full proper name, Renan Lodi's full name. Yeah, bloody hell! I can see why you called yourself Lodi. It's like a lot smaller, man.
Absolutely. Well, to wrap it off, I guess we should finalize with our score predictions. So perhaps I'm going to start with you, Dino. What are you going to go for?
2-1 Forest.
Okay. And your goal scorers?
No, I can't predict that much. You can't predict. Come on, I'll just give you the score. I can't really predict who's going to score. Sorry, Navas too.
He's going to say, I'm surprised he didn't say Shelby, Mike. He had this premonition, right? That Shelby was going to score a 30-yard screamer against, I think it was Man United. He didn't even make the squad. It was like, that one died to death. I said 3-1, but then I was speaking to my mates earlier, and they're like, how many times have you scored 3 goals this season? I was like, we scored last week, mate, against Brighton. And before that, I was like, no, we haven't. They're like, so where are you getting 3 goals from? I was like, I don't know. So I down-dialed it to 2-1.
So over the last 6 hours, you brought it down to 2-1. I like that.
Exactly. I was like, okay, so I'll go to Forest haven't kept a clean sheet in like 12 or 11 games now. Okay. So we'll definitely concede. Usually it's some dumb mistake from a defender or the goalkeeper or something like that. So you won't have to work hard to get a goal. Okay. The question is, can you handle the City ground? That's the question. And we'll find out on Monday. But I'll say 2-1, mate. I'll say 2-1.
What are you going for, Mike?
If we don't show up, it'll be a 1-0 Forest win. If we do show up, weirdly, I've got an inkling that because this might be the world's best bluff that a football club has ever played on the Premier League, and we suddenly show up and win the last 4 games. But you know what? I can see this one ending in 1-1, if I'm honest.
That doesn't help either of us, man.
Which is why it's going to happen.
You're right. He's right. He's right.
Are you coming up, Mike? Will you be coming up?
I'll be honest with you, I originally did have a hotel booked, but I would not be coming. I couldn't convince anyone to join me on this one, so it was. It was just, oh, come on, it'll be fun. I said, we'll do it next season in the Championship.
Monday night and then travel back the night before. God. Yeah, and I don't know, mate. I think this weekend defines a lot of what will happen because you got the whole. Have you seen all the Leeds guys? Leeds guys puffing their chest out of Sam Allardyce now as if he's better than Pep. They're believing what he said, you know. And then you got Leicester, Fulham. I think if Leicester lose to Fulham, they're down. I can't see them getting a win out of their next 3. I can see them getting a couple of draws. But I think that's apart from I know they got West Ham last day of the season, but by then it could be too late. And then you got Everton taking on who they got? Brighton away.
Wow.
You know, it's a big weekend, this one. It's a big weekend. And I hate football, man. I just hate it now. It's grinding, isn't it?
And all of us get to enjoy our weekend and not worry about the football until Monday evening, so we can enjoy.
Well, you know what? You're right. This could be the first weekend in a long time we haven't had it ruined by football, Mike. Isn't it?
By football clubs until late on Monday evening, so we can
exactly. Yeah.
At least we'll know what's happening around us before we play.
Imagine Leeds go away to Man City and win. I'm done. I'm not even watching my game on Monday. That's it. You just know it's not happening, man.
Fantastic, sir. Well, I know we've got a live show coming up on your channel soon, so we better wrap this one up. But of course, to everyone watching on this channel, please go over to Forest Fan TV, smash that sub, smash all the like buttons as you do. But Dino, Wolverine, thank you so much for joining.
And don't forget to help Mike on Beat the Drop. Yeah, poor Mike. We've all been feeling sorry for him. So you know we're doing that Tuesday because of all the matches, aren't we, Mike? So
it's getting busy, isn't it, towards the end of the season?
Yeah,
it is. Brilliant. All right. Well, thanks much, appreciated, guys. As always, remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. All right. See ya.